Hey there, this is Laquita with QuitaBugHandmaids.com, and thank you so much for joining me today for another Stampin' Up! Tutorial. So for today's project, I am featuring the Lemon Zest bundle. I love this bundle. So when you get this bundle, you get the punch along with the coordinating stamp set, and with this punch, you can cut out this oh so cute little lemon or lime. I absolutely love this set, so I'm excited to share a project with you today featuring this bundle. So today's project is actually designed around my very first Quita-Bug sketch challenge. I am definitely a beginner, a novice at creating sketches. This is a very basic sketch using my limited technology skills, but nonetheless, I really like it and I think it turned out really well for a very first sketch. So today's project is designed around this sketch, and I will have this as available to you guys as a free PDF download over on today's coordinating blog post. So I've linked to that blog post just below the video in the description notes, so you can head over there and download this sketch PDF. And I have included some sample measurements, which are actually the measurements that I'm using today for the project, just to get you started if you're a beginner with using sketches. So the way that it works is you use the sketch simply as inspiration. So using the sketch, this is the card that I created using that Lemon Zest bundle, and I absolutely love how this card turned out, and I love the vellum here that I used as one of the background layers for the card. So that's really all you do, is you take inspiration from the sketch and it just basically helps you create your own project. So feel free to download the sketch and use it. And if you do create a project, I would love for you to share your project with this hashtag here for Quita-Bug Sketch Challenge 1. Just hashtag it QBSC1. That way I can find your project. I would love to see what you guys create. All right, so let's go ahead and get started creating this happy birthday card. So I want to go ahead and start by getting the stamping out of the way. So I've got just a scrap piece of Whisper White here. This is cut down to, let's see, 3 inches by a little more than ½ an inch. And I'm just going to stamp the happy birthday sentiment using my basic black. This is the Archival Basic Black, so I'm just going to ink this up. Okay. And actually, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to turn this around this way. Slide this a little bit closer. And then just, whoop. There we go. And then I'll just stamp this down. Not too close to the right. Hopefully that's in the center. Give it a press. There we go, that looks pretty good. So we'll let that dry. All right, so for my lemon image, I'm going to stamp that in the lemon lime twist. So I'm just gonna ink this up really nicely. Ooh, I just re-inked my ink pad, so it's got a lot of ink in it. Let's see, so I'm trying to think about the punch. So, okay, so I'm actually gonna put my lemon over here, right about there. Okay, that should be good. Now for my leaves, I'm going to stamp this leaf over here. And I'm using Emerald Envy ink for the leaves. And now I'm gonna stamp this leaf, I think, over here. Okay. My inks are really dark right now because I just re-inked both of these, so they're a little extra dark. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my punch and I'm just gonna slip this in. Punch out my lemon, which actually I'm calling it a lemon, but this is really more of a lime. Now I'm going to bring in the punch and get this little guy. Okay. And then bring in the punch, and I'm gonna have to cut a little bit off here. I haven't figured out a clever way yet to save paper with this punch. I tried coming up with something today and I just can't quite figure out a way, so I'm gonna have to keep thinking. All right, so there we go. All right, so I've brought in my Big Shot here. We're gonna do a little bit of embossing. So I've got my Big Shot platform. Then I've got a piece of basic black cardstock. This is cut down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to slide that inside of the layered leaves embossing folder. This is a 3D embossing folder, so it is much thicker than a standard folder, so you do not need a cutting plate on the bottom. You just lay it directly on top of your platform, and then you put a cutting plate on top, and you're going to get a very deep dimensional impression with this 3D folder. I love these. Just pop that out and look at that. You couldn't really see this in the picture on the thumbnail, but look at that, and that's so nice. All right, so now I've got the rest of the pieces here, and we can start assembling this card. So I've got a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock for my base, and this is cut at 8 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and I have scored it at 4 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to fold that over, give it a nice tight crease. There we go. So now we can go ahead and actually add this embossed layer to the front of our card, and I'm going to be fairly generous with my adhesive just to prevent this layer from lifting because of the embossing. All right, so next I've got this piece of Designer Series paper. This is from the Fresh Florals Designer Series paper stack. This is cut at 2 inches by 5 inches, and I'm just going to bring in my triple banner punch and just banner the ends here. If you don't have this punch, feel free to just use your scissors. So now I'm just going to again adhere this with Fast Fuse, and I'm just going to put it over to the right and leave a little space between the top and the bottom, right about there. All right, so now I'm just using some Fast Fuse adhesive to adhere the leaf pieces here for my lime, and then I'm just going to add a little bit more Fast Fuse on top of that, and then we'll just stick that right behind. I want it right about there. I think that looks good. And now I'm just going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. All right, so now for my vellum piece, I'm actually going to use some of our White Perfect Accents. I'm using the smaller ones here. I'm going to go ahead and just add 3 of these in the top left-hand corner. All right, so I've got my little White Perfect Accents there, and I'm going to go ahead and take my lime and take the backings off of my dimensionals, and I'll just add this. Let's see, I think I want it right about there. Looks good. So now I'm just going to flip this over and add some Fast Fuse right behind that lime. It'll be nice and hidden. You'll never know it's there. And then I'm going to take 3 of these small glue dots. These are actually from an old Paper Pumpkin kit. You could also use our regular glue dots. I'm using these just because they're a little bit smaller than our regular ones. All right, so I just added those 3 little glue dots right behind where my White Perfect Accents were. So hopefully you can see those right there. So you can't even tell that that adhesive is on the back. And now I'm just going to line this layer up where I want it and adhere it down right there. And for my sentiment, I'm just going to slip that into my banner triple punch and banner the end. Just add a little Fast Fuse to the back, and then I'll just adhere that right about here onto my card. All right, and that finishes up my very first Queetabug sketch challenge project. I absolutely love how this card turned out. And of course, I had to be sure to stamp an envelope as well. So there is my completed project. I hope you guys enjoyed this sketch challenge project idea. Remember, you can head on over to today's coordinating blog post and download your Queetabug sketch challenge PDF if you are interested. You can also print it out and save it in a binder so that you have an idea for the future. I will be doing more sketch challenges later on down the line, and as I create them, I will of course share them with you guys as well. So thanks again for joining me, and remember, you can purchase any of the Stampin' Up! Supplies that you saw me use today by heading on over to today's coordinating blog post. Again, that is linked just below the video in the description notes. So thanks again, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye now.